Devin Haney, the 8th fighter in the 4-belt era to become the undisputed champion of the world. How does that sound?
Alhamdulillah, all praise due to Allah. Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
Dontaesboxingnation, what's going on, guys? All right, so when you go on the internet and you Google ESPN, you go to Wikipedia, and their summary of ESPN reads, while ESPN is one of the most successful sports networks, there has been criticism of ESPN. This includes accusations of biased coverage, conflict of interest, and controversies with individual broadcasters and analysts. Now, let me just say this again and make this point very clear. What I just read to you, that wasn't some writer writing a boxing article from some boxing website. That was Wikipedia saying this about ESPN. So with that summation out of the way, almost 3 years ago from today, Devin Haney, who was 20 years old at the time, was Lomachenko's mandatory. And unlike Ryan Garcia, when Ryan was Devin Haney's mandatory, Devin Haney, he was calling out the champion.
You are now the mandatory challenger for Basilan Lomachenko's 135-pound title. Do you believe at 20 years old you're ready for that type of challenge?
I think you said his name wrong. It's Lomachenko, because he doesn't want to fight me. But it's, I feel like I'm ready for the fight. This is the WBC mandatory. So, Lomachenko, come on, man. Let's get this fight going. If I'm so easy, Lomachenko should just fight me and get me out the way.
But instead of Lomachenko deciding to do exactly what champions are supposed to do, which is defend their throne, defend the title, he surrendered the belt. Lomachenko, he decided to vacate his WBC belt. And according to the WBC president, Mauricio Suleiman, Lomachenko's team contacted the WBC and they basically asked him, what can we do about this Devin Haney problem? Can you give me that same status that you gave to Canelo Alvarez? The franchise status. The WBC obliged Lomachenko and granted him the MBF witness protection status.
How did you choose Lomachenko? Because
I did not choose him. He requested, Canelo requested. So we sent out a vote and we analyzed his history.
Ooh, Canelo and Lomachenko requested?
Absolutely.
Ooh, you just made headlines.
Lomachenko,
You just made headlines.
Lomachenko, top rank, requested.
Now, after the WBC president handed that franchise status out to Lomachenko, he admitted shortly after that that franchise is not a belt nor a championship.
The franchise is not a belt, it's not a championship.
Now, despite everything that I just reported right there, despite everything that the actual WBC president himself said, ESPN announced the Lomachenko versus Lopez fight as a fight for all 4 belts for Undisputed, completely disregarding and disrespecting the WBC champion Devin Haney.
Let's talk about all the belts. Here they are. 4 on the line. History being made here. The first 4-belt lightweight championship fight that the sport has ever had. When you look around and you think to yourself, I win this fight, I'm gathering all of this.
And then once Teofimo beat Lomachenko and then Kambosos beat Teofimo, ESPN, they continued to mislead the public. When they knew what the truth was all along, they continued to call all of these fighters undisputed. But then surprisingly, the night of the fight, Devin Haney versus George Kambosos, ESPN Mark Kriegel finally admits on air that the WBC franchise belt was a silly made-up belt all along.
But Haney should get some praise as well for accepting the rematch clause without any hesitation. As for, the franchise belt, come on, man, that was just a silly thing the WBC made up. We are working our...
Okay, so you can clearly hear Joe Tessitore cutting off Mark Kriegel as he makes that revelation, right? But the most important thing to notice is nobody disagreed with anything that Mark Kriegel said when it came to this fake franchise belt. Guys, ESPN just admitted right there that Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, and George Kambosos, they were never undisputed. And the only lightweight that has become undisputed out of all of those fighters is Devin Haney. You guys heard the clip I played for you at the beginning. That was the Australian reporter telling Devin Haney that you are the 8th undisputed champion in history when it comes to the 4-belt era. Now, once again, as biased as the Australian media would be towards their own fighter, George Kambosos, even they told the truth when they talked about who was undisputed and who wasn't. But by way of contrast, before ESPN's Mark Kriegel actually told the truth about the franchise belt, ESPN, they still put this graphic up on the screen. They put up their own list of the undisputed champions in the 4-belt era, but their list included Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos. You see, if ESPN had to put the real graphic up, then it would show that 5 out of 8 of the undisputed champions are Black Americans. And they did not want the list to look like it was being dominated by Black Americans, which is the same reason why their pound-for-pound list looks the way it does. ESPN, they have retired boxers on their list, like Tyson Fury. They have fighters that have just come off of recent losses, like Lomachenko, and somehow they have Lomachenko ranked higher than Devin Haney, when Devin Haney just beat the guy that just beat Lomachenko. I mean, if this was the NFL, that would mean that Lomachenko, he lost in the playoffs and didn't even advance to the Super Bowl. Now, going back to a retired fighter like Tyson Fury being on the list, going back to Floyd Mayweather, when Floyd Mayweather announced his retirement after he knocked out Ricky Hatton, Floyd Mayweather was pound for pound #1, the best fighter on everyone's list. They removed Floyd from the list immediately. They didn't care if Floyd was coming back or not. They removed him as soon as he said he was retiring. But yet ESPN, they keep Tyson Fury on the list. Jermell Charlo, he becomes undisputed in arguably the deepest division in the sport of boxing. They don't even have Jermell on the list. But when Usyk became undisputed in arguably the weakest division in all of boxing, the cruiserweight division, ESPN, they put him on their list at #6. So at the end of the day, these examples, these double standards that I just displayed in this video is exactly what Wikipedia was describing in their summary of ESPN. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
I'm just excited, dog.
So how long did that take right there?
How much are you saying?
Like 2 hours.
That was it?
For this is the first section.
So this.
Oh, so it get better than that?
Oh yeah, I'm just starting him off. I gotta see him.
Well, you came to the right man, dog.
So
you came to the right
this
one.
brother here walked in, looking to get his stuff done. He just got his first session. What do you think?
It definitely looked good. It's perfect to me. You know what I mean?
Perfect to me too.
All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Deki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodeki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called Scalp Micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. So to get this hookup, make sure you follow and contact my man ScalpCarolinas on Instagram. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.